As the recession continues to impact city government revenues, Mayor Daley announced a series of initiatives to manage government spending that will not affect its delivery of services. Here are highlights from the February 11th news conference.
We all have a responsibility to make sure the city government provides the services that the people of Chicago need, but at a cost they can afford, especially more so today than ever. I also have an equally important responsibility to manage government well so that our actions are transparent and open and accountable. And so we're protecting taxpayers by doing more with less. Towards that goal, we're always looking for new ways to control and cut spending so that we don't have to ask taxpayers for more. In good times and in bad, but especially during these tough economic times, we are determined to get all we can from every tax dollar. As the worst recession in 70 years continues to impact local revenues, spending less is critical. Sometimes it's lost, but we have a solid record of managing government well. It's been an important ongoing priority of mine in this administration. Time and time again, Chicago has been recognized around the nation for its good management and for bringing new thinking, new ways of doing business to government. We've controlled the cost of government by cutting over $2.7 billion in spending. That $2.7 billion that taxpayers did not have to pay in higher taxes. As a result, city property taxes have increased just a little more than an average of 1.3% a year since I've been mayor, far lower than the rate of inflation. Raising taxes have always been my last resort. We reduced the number of city employees by more than 6,200 over the last 10 years, even as we added sworn police officers. We have made hundreds of management improvements to ensure that government is more transparent, that we're doing more with less, and better delivering needed services. Still, the challenge of better management government is never ending. The sad fact remains that Chicago residents are still struggling, and right now, to get through this deep national recession, too many families are still finding it tough to pay their bills, aren't spending on much more beyond the basic of food, housing, and transportation. And of course, foreclosures are going up continually, more and more, not only here, but throughout the nation. And too many of our businesses are still struggling to stay in business. Some are cutting back, and some, of course, more and more are reducing the number of employees. And you see that in your own profession as well, unfortunately. We're very optimistic about the future, and that's what you have to have. You have to have optimism that we're going to come through this deep recession, and still there'll be challenging days ahead as well. While the nation's ongoing recession has a direct impact on Chicago, it also has a direct impact on city revenues. Primarily the economically sensitive revenue sources the city relies upon to provide essential city services, sales tax, real estate tax, part of the income tax, all those. Economically sensitive revenues are on track overall with their latest projections. Some are up lightly, some are down, but by no means, by no means are we seeing any sustained growth. That's very important. We want to remind that when we developed our 2010 budget, we assumed a slow recovery, a very slow recovery. In response, we reduced all of our revenue projections. While it is too far early to determine if this year's conservative revenue projections will continue on track, we know that we continue to face large deficits this year and the next few years as the economy slowly recovers. This year, we will start to meet that challenge, as we always have, by cutting spending, finding better and more efficient ways to deliver government services. First, to cut spending. Today, I'm ordering each department in government to immediately implement an across-the-board reduction in non-personal expenses of 6%. I've ordered that these cuts not apply to critical safety operations, nor are the cuts by each department to affect service delivery. This step alone should save us another $11 million. As part of my commitment to get more for every taxpayer dollar, I've ordered a comprehensive management review of Chicago Police Department headquarters to ensure that we are using every possible dollar to prevent and fight crime in our streets and our neighborhoods. This will include returning as many police officers as possible to street duty. This builds on our efforts last year to retune our crime-fighting efforts and return 154 officers to neighborhood street duty. At the same time, I want to remind people that our ban on hiring new employees remains in effect. New hirees will only be made in very very, very limited number of situations, including positions critical to public safety. You have to review that. Revenue generating other critical positions, and we'll have a review board to look at each one of those. They have to substantiate their request for an employee. So I know that we must do more to control and even cut spending this year and into the future. So we've instructed the budget director to order each department head to even better manage their expenditures this year by cutting spending, finding creative ways to save taxpayers' dollars. We've also made it clear that this year, as departments present their 2011 budget proposals, I will not accept any department proposal that increases spending in 2011 unless there are compelling reasons to do so, including contractual obligations. I want to each department to do more with less, hopefully without affecting the services. Further, we understand that these tough, very tough economic times demand that we do more to rethink the role of government, and you have to restructure it both to further control costs and to better serve the people of Chicago. And I think the recession is about restructuring not only your profession, your life, but everything that we see. It's a restructuring, the recession. It's not just the loss of jobs. It's restructuring everything, and we have to understand that. I said before, I've challenged my budget, our financial leadership team to ask the tough questions. Do we need every department? Can we consolidate more departments and eliminate duplication of work? Are there services we can end or reduce? How can we better employ new technology to deliver services and make our decisions transparent? What are the new management improvements that need to be implemented to control the size and costs of government? How can we better control our personnel spending, including the growing cost of pensions? Remember, the growing cost of personnel drives our structural budget deficit. Every year we spend more than 80%, I'll underline that, 80% of the operation budget on personnel cost. I understand that we're living in tough times where new ideas must be proposed and new thinking delivered on. So I've challenged this group to think creatively outside the box, to reach out to our business and community leaders for their ideas and thinking. We'll be announcing the next steps in the next few months so we can stay ahead of the budget challenges. At the end of the day, there will be tough decisions ahead to balance the budget, but none of them are as cut and dried as some people would lead you to believe. I know there will always be some who say that our sole focus should be on cutting spending, regardless of services we have to cut, even if people's lives are harmed in this tough economy. Others will demand that we spend more on the service that people need and raise taxes to fund them. As mayor, I have to balance both interests, providing government that taxpayers can afford and there's accountability to them, but also provide the key services which are essential they need, especially during these tough economic times. And that's what I will do. Thank you.